Okay, we can do intros to any. Yeah, totally. Let's do it. Actually, I don't know how many times we repeat Shalom Aleichem. We should ask Sonia, because there are various verses. Hey, Linda, do you know how many times we usually repeat Shalom Aleichem? Oh, Shalom Aleichem, which verses do we do?
I think we do all of this, Rabbi.
Really? Like 10 verses?
Oh, no, there's not however many are supposed.
Hey, Jim. Yeah, well, we'll just follow her.
I think it's the first.
Okay. All right, thank you. Yeah, okay. So we'll do 2-bar intro to that one. We can do... Or I could do it if you want. No, not at all. It's just so we mix it up. Either. Do you want me to? All right, and we'll just do the same thing there, where it's another 2-bar intro. That's fine. Yeah. Okay. All right, got it. You ready, you said? Okay.
Ready to start.
Okay. Okay.
Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach. This is a very special night. It's a little more special than I wish it would be. Edith has COVID. So, because Edith is not here, today I have the honor and the pleasure to welcome Louis on the cello and Amy on the piano. Thank you for being with us tonight. And tomorrow we're going to have Lori. So that means I'm going to sing a lot. And the ones who know me know that I am still I didn't have bronchitis, probably I had COVID, but I'm still a little under the weather and I need to sing a bar mitzvah tomorrow. So tonight I'm going to sing very softly, very loftily. There won't be a sermon, but I'm going to read a lot of poetry to you, if that's okay, because that's better for the voice than giving a sermon. I need to be louder because Dan doesn't hear me. What? I don't know. But we're about to figure out how Dan can use headphones. So we're getting there, just slow. But it is, even if Edith had been here, it is a very special night because it is the Shabbat that falls on Shavuot this year. And Shavuot is very famous for cheesecake, and there are cheesecakes in just, a little bit after the service. And it's also famous for honey and milk because it used to be the holiday where kids started religious school. And in order to make this a sweet beginning for them, they would bake the letters with either honey cake, or they would just make regular little cakes and dip these in honey so that the Torah would be sweet as honey. And it all makes sense that way. It is also a really, really, really mystical holiday. We are imagining ourselves standing on top of Mount Sinai. The heavens are open. The Torah is getting given. This is not Yom Kippur. This is not a tablet of stones. Those tablets that we receive on Shavuot are described to us by the rabbis as translucent, light blue sapphire. And God God's self wrote on them, and you could read them from both sides. So they're magical. It is a very magical holiday on which we read the prophet Ezekiel's visions of how the heavens would open up, and he can see how the universe is ticking and ticking and ticking. Wheels within wheels, he says. It's also a holiday for which this poem is written. It's called Aktamut Milin, and is recited by Ashkenazi Jews only on Shavuot. Lean back. We have a lot of words. Before reciting the 10 Commandments, I first ask permission and approval to start with 2 or 3 stanzas in fear of God who creates and ever sustains. He has endless might, not to be described. Where the sky is parchment, where all the reeds kills, where the seas and all waters made of ink, where all the world's inhabitants made scribes, the glorious Lord of heaven and earth alone formed the world, veiled in mystery. Without extortion did he perfect it, only by a light sign, without substance. He accomplished all his work in 6 days. His glory ascended a throne of fire. Millions of legions are at his service. Fresh each morning, they flourish with great faith. More glowing are the 6-winged seraphim who keep silence till leave is given them. Without delay, they call to one another. God's majestic splendor fills the whole earth. Like a mighty thunder, like ocean's roar, the cherubim and the spheres rise loudly to gaze at the rainbow-like appearance. Wherever set, they hasten anxiously, whispering praise in each tongue. Blessed be his glory in his entire universe. All the heavenly hosts shout praise in awe. His glory shines forever and ever. Their hymn is timed. When the hour is gone, they shall at no period chant it again. Dear to him are the people of Israel, acclaiming him each morning and evening. They are dedicated to do his will, his wonders, his praises. They declare hourly. He desires them to toil in the Torah, so that their prayer be well accepted, bound up in the crown of the eternal, securely set near the precious frontlet. His frontlet is most skillfully inscribed, "Great is Israel, who proclaims God's oneness." The praise of the world's Lord in pure homage, I am pleased to declare before the kings. They come and gather like the surging waves, wondering and asking about the signs. Whence and who is your beloved, O fair one? For whom do you die in the lion's den? Most precious are you if you merge with us. We will do your will in all the regions. With wisdom I answer them concisely. You must recognize and acknowledge him. Of what value is your glory compared with all that God will do for me in due time, when light will come to me and shame to you, when he will reveal himself in great might. He will repay the foes in all the isles, triumph to the dear and upright people. Perfect joy, pure delight will come into Jerusalem when he will gather the exiles. His glory will shield Zion day and night, while his tent for praise will made in it under a splendid canopy of bright clouds. For each godly man a booth will be made, furnished with a gold throne of 7 steps. The righteous will be arrayed before God, their sights resembling sevenfold delight, the brilliant sky and the luminous stars, a splendor that no language can describe. That was not heard of or nor viewed by prophets. No eyes has penetrated paradise, where the righteous stands in presence of God, reverently pointing out, "This is he for whom we looked in exile with firm face." He now gently guides us eternally, granting us the share long reserved for us. Leviathan contends with Behemoth. They are locked in combat with each other. Behemoth gores mightily with its horns. The sea monster counters with potent fins. The Creator slays them with his great sword and prepares a banquet for the righteous, who sit in rows at tables of precious stones, while before them flow streams of balsam, and they indulge themselves and drink full cups of the precious old wine preserved in vats. You upright, having heard this hymn of praise, may you be in that blissful company. You will merit to sit in the first row if you will obey God's majestic words. God, exalted from beginning to end, was pleased with us and gave us the Torah. So, dwelling in this image of paradise, opening skies, us being a little bit of a part of a much larger experience, I'd like to invite Marnie up to light for us the Shabbat and the holiday candles. And we are today on page 384 because it is a holiday. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. These always work. Okay. It's okay. I can do this for you, and then you will light them. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu להדליק נר של שבת ויום טוב. שבת שלום וחג שמח. Thank you. And then I hopefully will always remember to switch it off. So I want us to read together on the next page, actually the same page together. May these festival lights open our eyes to the joy in life. Be beauty that delights the eye, freedom to be ourselves, the knowledge of Torah that shapes our moral being, the heritage of celebration that unites us as a people. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, for forgiving us life, sustaining us, and enabling us to reach this season. Amen. And we're going to go back into the Shabbat section because unfortunately they didn't include that here. So we're going to go back to 136. And for the next couple of minutes, then we just sing these never-changing words. Just think a little bit. If you were to write a poem about Torah, what would you write about? Mizmor leDavid, havu l'Adonai bnei Elim, havu l'Adonai, kavod va'oznai, havu l'Adonai kevod shemo, ishtachavu l'Adonai be'adrat kodesh, kol Adonai al hamayim el hakavod irim, Adonai al mayim rabim, kol Adonai ba'koach nay nay nay, kol Adonai shaman avada, kol Adonai shover harazim, vayeshamer Adonai et hazeh halvanon, vayakidem kemo egel levanon, vesirion kemo ונעמים יענה כל אדוני חוצב לעבוד אש, כל אדוני יכיל מדבר, יכיל אדוני מדבר הקודש, כל אדוני יכול איילות ויחשוף יערות ובחלו כולו מרכבות ני 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 כל אדוני למבול ישב וישב אדוני מלך לעולם אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום יעני 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 nay 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 ya na 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 lechadodi ya na 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 likakala ya na 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 penei Shabbat nekabela shamu וזכור בדיבור אחד השמיענו אל המיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה יין עין עין ין עין 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 לך דודי יא נה 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 נקרא כלה, יא נה 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 לקראת שבת, לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה, יין עין עין ין עין 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 לך דודי, ין עין 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 נקרא כלה, ין עין 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 פני שבת, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, ינני 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 פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, ינני 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 פני שבת נקבלה, התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, אורי אורי שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, ינני 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 פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, ינני 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 פני שבת נקבלה, בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, ינננני לך דודי, ינננני פני שלום, ינננני פני שבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר, ולזמר לשמך עליון, טוב להודות לאדוני. Thank you for every tone you're carrying when I can't. This one is called A Poem Without an End. It's by Yehuda Amichai. Inside the brand new museum, there's an old synagogue. Inside the synagogue is me. Inside me, my heart. Inside my heart, a museum. Inside the museum, a synagogue. Inside it, me. Inside me, my heart. Inside my heart, a museum. Please rise. 146. Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Please be seated. Baruch אתה Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bedvaro ma'ariv aravim. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. El Chai v'Kayam, Tamid Yimloch Aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch ata Adonai Hamariv Aravim. The greatest sign for God's love is the Torah. Page 150. Ahavat Olam, eternal love, eternal sign. Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael 154. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. Who stood at Sinai? Who walked up the mountaintop? Who walked up there just to the first platform? How often did Moses go up and down? All those questions, you will be surprised, are not answered with absolute clarity in the Torah. There are different versions, all plastered together. There's one sentence, though, in the very beginning of the story, and that is God saying, "You Israelites, stay away from your wives for 3 days." So when feminists read the Torah, they were wondering, and then what? Were they just there separate? Or were the women even further apart from the mountain? So Merle Feld wrote this: "My brother and I were both at Sinai. He kept a journal of what he saw, of what he heard, of what it all meant to him. I wish I had such a record of what happened to me there. It seems like every time I want to write, I can't. I'm always holding a baby, one of my own or one of a friend, always holding a baby. So my hands are never free to write things down. And then, as time passes, the particulars, the hard data, the who, what, when, where, why, slip away from me. And all I am left with is the feeling. But feelings are just sounds, the vowel barking of a mute. My brother is so sure of what he heard. After all, he's got a record of it. Consonant after consonant after consonant. If we remembered it together, we could recreate holy time, sparks flying." 158, Micha Mocha, because this is when they were on their way. No 162. Veshamo. את השמיים ואת הארץ וביום השביעי שבת מעי נפש ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי Chaim Bialik wrote a poem after he left the synagogue where he had grown up. Should you wish to know the source from which your brothers drew their strength of soul, their comfort, courage, patience, trust, and iron might to bear their hardships and suffer without end or measure. And should you wish to see the fort wherein your fathers refuge sought, and all their sacred treasures hid, the refuge that has still preserved your nation's soul intact and pure, and when despised and scorned and scoffed, their faith they did not shame. And should you wish to see and know their mother, faithful, loving, kind, who sheltered them and shielded them and lulled them on her lap to sleep, if you, my brother, know not, then enter now the house of God, the house of study old and gray, throughout the scorching summer days, throughout the gloomy winter nights, at morning, midday, or at eve. And there you may still behold a group of Jews from exile who bore the yoke of its burden, who forget their toil through a worn-out page of the Torah. And then your heart shall guess the truth, that you have touched the sacred ground of a great people's house of life, and that your eyes do gaze upon the treasure of a nation's soul. Please rise if you're able. 164. You can pray the words with me. You can make up your own poem, or you can just listen to the music that Louis is going to play. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. (180) עושה שלום במרומיו. Vehimu כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. ואמרו Amen. And I like to think that on a day like this, when the sky is open and the doors are open, our prayers have a little less of a long way directly to the ears of the Holy One. So it is time to say the Misheberach. If anyone has to add names of people you know, of people you love, or just people you know of who are in need of healing, and you want to say their names out loud, then that is not for the dead people. That is for the sick people. So you're good. But you're good. So if you want to say the names of sick people or people who are in need of healing for other reasons than physical disease, this is the moment. E71, Misheberach לחולים. It's Shavuot, so we're going to have a short Yizkor service tomorrow on top of a very elaborate long bar mitzvah. So it is going to be very short. But I do want to use this evening to read out loud the names of the 14 people that this community has lost since last Yom Kippur. Craig Barber, grandfather of Cody. Abel Menaled, brother of Fabian Menaled and brother-in-law of Irene Greenberg. Anne-Marie Ryder, wife of former President Jeff Ryder. Fred Leopold, husband of Jane Leopold and father of Lorna, Marnie, and Seth Leopold. Leora Werner, sister-in-law of Jake and Kama Werner, aunt of Quinn and Lauren Werner. John Alexander Roberts, father of Jackie Robin. Daniela Stoffel. Sid Braston, husband of Joanne Braston. Ellen Ornitz's sister, Laurel Rachel Ornis. Lisa Miller's mother, Arlene Heberlein, and her uncle, Carl Miller. Larry Liederman, brother of Sharon Liederman and brother-in-law of Randy Levin. Kate Klingensmith, brother Dave, and Wendy Marcus' husband, Michael. Please join me for the Kaddish. Now it's the time, Dan, to rise on page 598. 598 for the Kaddish of the mourners. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחי יכון וביום יכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהא שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא. ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה ברכו. לאלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, תאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהא שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן. Please be seated. There should never be a Shavuot where I'm not mentioning this. Shavuot, the way we celebrate it, is a very Ashkenazi thing. Sephardim didn't used to eat cheesecake. Imagine that. Now everyone eats cheesecake. Even the Sephardim, they forgot that it's not theirs, so they eat cheesecake. We also all celebrate Yizkor, at least where the Sephardim were exposed to Ashkenazi customs. But Yizkor really comes from this very time of the year. It was in the 12th century when around Pentecost, the big pogroms happened around the river of Rhine in Europe. So it was for the first time the Shavuot, the year after, that they did a Yizkor service, where they read out of the books the names of all the people who were slaughtered back then by the Crusaders on their way to Jerusalem. From Shavuot, this jumped to Passover and Sukkot, and then eventually to Yom Kippur. And this is where it sits now, for most of us, most important. And we forget that there were these real books, large books of leather bound and heavy, that are today to be found in the archives around the Rhine, that carry the names of each members of these communities. And these communities also invented the custom of an extra Kaddish just for mourners, who would rise at the end of each service and say the names of all the family members who died on that Shavuot, and then they would lead the congregation in Kaddish. It's a very strange layering and layering and layering, but there is something really deeply moving about the fact that we still do this, maybe a little too often even, but we still do this because it happened there at the Rhine more than 1,000 years ago. Or that's actually not true, less than 1,000 years ago. But you know my math, whatever, roughly 800 years ago. So, as we all have many souls, old ones, new ones, ones that we keep with us, and ones that maybe are just about to fully settle into our lives, we sing Shalom Aleichem, all the angels, all the souls in this space. Page 627. שלום עליכם, מלאכי השרת, מלאכי עליון. מי מלך מלאכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. לכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. מי מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברכוני לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. מי מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. מי מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. And if you're holding someone next to you or inside your heart very closely, and even if that person is you, if you just want a long hug, this one is for you. יברכך אדוני וישמרך, יאר אדוני פניו אליך ויחונקה, יישא אדוני פניו אליך וישם לך shalom. May God bless you and protect you. May God's light shine all above you, and may you walk in this light of community and peace and Torah every day of your lives. And I am going to turn around and find this. Okay, thank you, Cody, as always. And the white is juice and the red is wine. And if we run out of either, then we have more here. Cody, did you hear that? No. Okay, Cody, there's more. More. Okay, good. On the unusual page of 386. 386. ויהי ויבוקר יום השביעי, ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, בורא פרי הגפן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר בחברנו מכל עם, ורוממנו מכל לשון, וקידשנו במצוותיו. ותיתן לנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה שבתות למנוחה, ומועדים לשמחה, חגים וזמנים לששון. את יום השבת הזה, את יום חג השבועות הזה, זכר למעשה בראשית, מקרא קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים, כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים. ושבת מועדי קודשך באהבה ורצון, בשמחה וששון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת בישראל והזמנים. לחיים. And there is a challah behind Louis, and it's another one from Helena. So for the ones who didn't try it 2 weeks ago, this one comes from a bakery that is called the Park Avenue Bakery in Helena. How random is that? But there is a big synagogue in New York who's also on that also is on Park Avenue. So how bad can it be? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tehavon. Don't eat too much of it. So, next door we have 3 different kinds, but 4 cheesecakes. We have coffee that is decaf, so drink it and drink it with a lot of cream. And for those of you for whom this just doesn't feel right, there's a lot of cream soda, which are a lot of cheap food puns for milk and honey and a lot more milk and a lot more cream and a little bit of cheese. And please go right next door. It's right there. And someone needs to be empowered and make the first cuts, but the knives are there. Shabbat Shalom.